Hi everyone, welcome to another Joseki lesson. So in this video, let's talk about the basics of the kick Joseki. So what's the kick? That's number 6 right here. You can call this a diagonal attachment against black's number 5, but you can also call it a kick. So this Joseki is pretty simple. The moves are pretty simple. It's only 6 moves like this, but there are many things for us to talk about. So first of all, there are a couple of simple variations, right? You don't just see this variation. You see white playing here on the third line as well, and black playing here on the third line too, right? So these are viable for beginners, mid-level amateur players, but once you get more advanced, usually white only plays this move and black only plays right here at the start point on the fourth line. So especially for black, this is very important that you play here on the fourth line. Of course, this leaves a weakness right here. We'll talk about this in the next video or two. Gets quite complicated, but black should not play here on the third line. The third line is simply too low, simply too low. So even with the weakness here on the second line, black should still play here on the fourth line. As for white, playing here on the third line also leaves a weakness in the future. So black might be able to play something like this. It's a really annoying move. If white plays something here, black can come in. So we can cover this in the next video. It gets a little more complicated. If white connects here, then black can bend underneath, and this will be a very difficult situation for white. White is overly concentrated, and the corner territory is significantly reduced after black's 13 and 15. So that is why white should not play here at number 8 under most circumstances. But what's more interesting is the kick itself, right? Having this exchange. We should ask, is it good or bad? Because we've seen this Joseki, right? It's kind of outdated, but as I said, it's still playable for beginners and amateur players. AI doesn't like black, right? Because black is kind of in the middle, doesn't really connect with number 5. White can still come in like this, and it doesn't really secure the side either, right? And it puts no pressure on the corner. So that's why number 7 is considered a slow move. So these two Josekis are mostly outdated, but this one isn't. And it's funny, right? Because more than 20 years ago, when I first learned Go, I learned this Joseki. And then this kick Joseki quickly fell out of favor. You almost never saw this Joseki in professional games 10, 15, 20 years ago. It wasn't that popular. So whenever I played online, and if my opponent played the kick at the start point, I knew that it's a weaker opponent, right? I'm probably gonna win that game. So it was kind of a marker of beginner play, right? To play this kick. But in the age of AI, this kick move is back. So apparently, the kick seems to favor black, right? Because, as we said, this is not okay for black. But after this exchange, right, we say this is okay. This is a okay Joseki for black to play. So this exchange, right, 6 and 7, that's the first thing we should consider. So obviously it is good for black in that 5 and 7, this shape is really strong. 2 stones right here, 5 liberties left, not short on liberties. So that's a good thing, right? And second of all, in professional games, you might see black taking sente after white's number 8, right? Because occupying, playing here something here on the corners is more valuable than playing on the side. So black is not really afraid of the pincer. If you want to save these 2 stones, you can always jump out very easily. You can slide to the second line. If your opponent's pincer is on the 4th line, if it's on the 3rd line, then you can come out very easily, because these 2 stones are in a very good position. Furthermore, black is not really afraid of being attacked because of all kinds of aji, right? All kinds of potential variations here on the corner that black can play to kind of reduce white's corner territory, especially here, or even something like this. So lots of annoying moves that we'll cover in the next couple of videos. Of course, those are going to get quite complicated, not super beginner friendly. But in this video, let's just talk about the simple Joseki and white the kick is about even, right? So obviously 5 and 7 is a very good shape, very strong shape for black. But why does white want to play this? First of all, white has this move as a follow-up. And second, white eventually can also play this exchange. It's also very, very, very big. You should not play this at the beginning of a game, right? Because this is an endgame move. Bending here, and number 10, and connecting here, number 12. But this is a very big endgame move that you can play in the middle of the game. Why should you play this move in the middle of the game when it's an endgame move? Because it helps settle the corner, right? After 10 and 12, this really completes the shape. The corner territory is all white, and it's a huge corner. It's almost 20 points, right? So white can really be satisfied with the corner territory right here. But it's gote, right? It's not sente. It's a little slow, right? When there are bigger points out there, right? Like the corner closures and corner approaches are definitely bigger than 10 and 12. But 10 and 12 are important because it helps settle the whole corner and prevents black from attacking it. So part of the value of number 6 is that it sets up number 10 and 12, right? And it prevents black from coming into the corner, right? If you do not play this kick, you can just play here number 6 on the 3rd line or the 4th line. Black can come into the corner very easily, right? So number 6 protects the corner, but it doesn't completely secure the territory after this one move. It needs a follow-up like this to secure the entire corner. And that's where this Joseki gets really interesting, because normally, right, if you're white in this situation, you play this Joseki 6 and 8 at the beginning of a game, but you do not have time, right? You don't play this immediately after this, right? White has sente. That's another advantage in this Joseki, is that white should play elsewhere on the board. But sometime down the line, right, if black wants to kind of harass this corner, it can still do that, right? And we'll cover some of the variations in the next lesson. So black can come in like this, or even this. And if white chooses number 8 on the 3rd line, black has moves like this, right? But for now, let's just understand what the kick is doing. It kind of keeps black out of the corner for the time being, right? Black can still harass the corner. And white, by playing here on the 4th line, keeps a pretty high position here on the left side. And black, by playing at number 7, already forms a pretty strong shape. And by adding number 9, black has a very good grasp of the upper side. So this is the basic Joseki stemming from this kicking move out of the corner. One thing to note is that the kick Joseki also exists for the 3-4 point. We'll get to it when I make videos about Josekis stemming from the 3-4 point. So this also exists for the 3-4 point. In the past, this didn't exist, right? Because it was considered too low for black. Black is on the 3rd line, and white, again, 10, 12, very good shape. And 14 has good influence here on the lower side. So this used to be considered in favor of white. But in the age of AI, this Joseki is also about even. So both kicking Josekis are back because of AI. And in the 3-4 version, there's not much for white to do here, right? White really doesn't have a whole lot here on the lower right corner after black's kick. But here on the upper left, after white's kick at number 6, there is still a lot that black can consider here on the corner. So white doesn't have the corner territory here, but on the lower right, black already has the corner territory. But in exchange, black has a lower position here on the 3rd line. So that's the basic setup for the kick Joseki. In the next couple of videos, I will cover some of the follow-ups, especially this move, as well as black's potential moves here at the 3-3 point, or something like this, or this. So please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.